Good morning, everybody. For about the last hour, maybe 2 hours, Finn has been sleeping on my hand. He was actually here, and he was sleeping on my hand, and I couldn't really take the picture. So he got up and he just moved to here. But this is what it was like for the last hour, maybe 2 hours. We were both sleeping. My therapy cat and the other kids are very nearby. Lcee there in the hall, so in sight. And Agita was in the living room, but she's come here to the hall. So this is where I've said this before. This was worth all the effort. Yeah, it was a lot of effort to stay clear last few days. A lot of effort, And I don't know if it came across in the podcast. I talked about it, but it was just, like by cat hair that I made it clear. But this was worth it. I get my perrito here, my therapy cat, Anyway, oh well, a happy Victoria Day, everybody. Bye for now. Okay, fed the kids, worked on a journal entry, read some blogs online and stuff. And Agita settled there very nicely in the playpen, and that Jackson Galaxy toy, which they now use as a bed. And one of the babies is settled here under the bed, under the white chair. And the other baby was settled there nicely on the cat bed in the dining room, but has now come to the living room. So I'm now going to get ready and head out for, a drive in the 4:30 and lunch, possibly Greek, possibly Thai. And then I want to come back and spend some more time with the kids. I might go for a walk. And then later, writing, reading, and watching fireworks late at night with the kids from the window. So anyway, that's the plan for the day. Every time I see the pools are slightly lower, they ramp up, but I think I'm okay today. Because I did post yesterday, and we had a very good night, very good morning, and I sent a nice text to friends with pictures of family time and stuff. So I think today I may be okay. No, tomorrow might be a different thing. But and today I've got a plan. It's like the lunch and the walk and the time with the kids. Okay, I'm here at the Astoria Greek place, but in Mississauga, not the one on Danforth. And they are having their lunch special today, even though it's a holiday. You get one stick of chicken souvlaki, but then you get salad, and you get, potatoes, and you get pita, and all of that is like $15, which is half what it would be in the evening. So that's fine. It's one stick is enough for me. You get lots of salad, potatoes, cold up. And from here, the only thing about coming here is that just sort of remind me of, it was in this area that I had some party locations back when I was back in the day, So, but certain hotels in the area are fairly notorious. One name. Hello, everybody. I finished my meal. I was going to wash the car, but it's really very clean. I just got to wipe the windshield with the dry cloth, and want to get ice cream. The truck is right there. But I'll drop the car at home. I'll drop the car here, give it to the valet, go up to see the kids, and then I'll walk over to ice cream, have a walk. Lots of people eat, humans, but I don't have to talk to any of them, which is good. So then I will, except for the person when I have the ice cream, and then back to the kids, and then writing, reading, feeding the kids, feeding myself, still leftover food from the place the other night. And watching TV, streaming, and reading, and bedtime. Okay. Bye for now. I did want to have a drive in this car on a holiday, and I had a nice drive, and had a nice lunch. Now walk. Bye for now. Hello, everybody. Just came back, gave the 4:30 to the valets, and came up, and Agita very nicely settled there. Both the babies here, and sweetheart, I'm not going to step on you. Daddy would never step on you. And I can see in that in the closer parking lot there. It's still kind of, I don't know if I'll show in the video, but I can see the ice cream truck is still there. Lots of humans, but as I said, I don't have to talk to them. So, standing in line here at the building's right there. Hi, kids. They're in that ring on the left. Hi, kids. So I'm going to get my ice cream and walk a bit and then back to the kids. Bye for now. Just sitting on my favorite bench, finished my ice cream, walked over here. I was planning on going for a further walk, but I'm not sure I have the energy. Oh, I don't know if you can see these. Let me turn off that. That's, I think, from a boat, you know? And then that's from the little islandy thing there. Actually, they're still going on. They're going to go on until quite late. Now one of the kids is running that way. Anyway, one baby there, one baby there, and Agita there. Bye for now. They're changing the thresholds because they're redoing the halls completely, carpeting and walls and everything. So they needed permission to open the door, and the security guard is there, but I'm home. And now the kids got a little excited, and when they started drilling, they ran. But now one of the babies is watching from there, and Agita is. I think I just saw her there. Agita is there under the dining table, and now both of the kids, the babies, are under the bed. One's on this side, one's on that side. Well, there is news. I posted on Sunday saying the pulls had been very strong, but the pushes were holding by a cat hair. Well, the cat hair broke yesterday. It's a lot of pressure to put on a single cat hair. You know, that was really the difference between the pushes and the pulls. That's how strong the pushes are. The pulls are even stronger, you know, so they wear down, you know. That's a very delicate balance. And I was like, yesterday, I'm not going to describe. This is, I don't. I write about it. And I don't have an analyst to talk about, but, I used to talk about the binges with him in some detail, but it didn't really help. It didn't help prevent them. It didn't give me any insight. There was no special Jungian, Animon, this is that, or this is, there was never, it was just like, oh, binges are bad, which they are, and they're getting more dangerous and they're getting more whatever, but I survived it. I, got back to the kids safely, took precautions, didn't drive while under influence, that kind of thing, So, but I won't describe the binge in any more detail, except to say that, it was as usual. It was pretty harrowing, but it was also, there's some, I don't know how to describe it. It was like the situations I ended up in were sort of the situations that for some reason, I needed to be in, and other people. That's the whole thing. I don't talk about the binges just because, there's some other people are involved, and it's like the whole dusty dumpster road and weasel thing, and the slithering, and the, there's legal issues. So, as I said, always consenting adults and partiers and all of that stuff, and the whole online network. And again, I'm not going to talk about all of that. That's that I write about it, and if I ever publish, everything will be fictionalized and changed or whatever. So, but I won't talk about it more here, except to say that it was pretty harrowing, but and I will say, I've said this before, that the shadow, my shadow really comes out. I become the opposite, pretty much the opposite of my persona. It's nuttiness, but it's a really completely twisted nuttiness. It's a different kind of, shadowy, and normally I'm articulate and I'm, intelligent, and when I'm in a certain space, I'm the opposite of that, and I'm kind of regressed, and it's humbling. It's humiliating in a way, but then the humiliation is part of the kick. It's part of the whole process, and it's part of part of the kind of balancing of something or the other. Now, I am not feeling great just because I did substances. I was up all night, and my diabetes seems to be triggered, even though I did try to take my diabetes meds during the binge yesterday, and I tried to eat, because at one point, just to kind of sober up, I went to a Montana's, and then I walked around, and then once I was sober, I went on the next leg of the journey, and then I took my metformin with some salad and some shrimp, but I had to really force myself to eat, and I guess the metformin didn't mix well with the other stuff, because I've been all night. I've been getting up to pee and an unquenchable thirst, and that's actually the symptoms that led to my diagnosis of diabetes in the first place. Because 10 years ago, I told a friend of mine, I said, I was going to the house and I had to keep stopping to pee, and I had to, keep stopping at gas stations to get cola or energy drink, or even water. I was drinking any kind of liquid. And she said, because, her father had been a pharmacist and her mother was a dietitian, she said, "Oh, that's a sign of diabetes. That's the symptoms." Well, last night I had the strong, it was like that 10 years ago. It was like just peeing all the time, and unquenchable thirst, which I still sort of have. I guess the fact that I'm drinking cola to quench the thirst probably didn't help. I think water would have probably been better, but at this point, I'm like, fuck it, So that's what's been happening. Now, I might have to up my dosage of metformin or go see the doctor and get onto a more powerful anti-diabetes medication. That's a sigh, As my friend just said in an email, as she says, onwards and upwards. And my reply was, well, I've been downwards and backwards. So yeah, I think it's definitely time. The journey kind of goes, it's not, the journey's like up and down. It really is. So now that we've been down, it's time to go up. Hopefully. I will sit on the ego chair a little bit later, and I think I'm going to select a tarot card. I've been reflecting on the last one a bit, the High Priestess, which sort of related to some of the shit that was happening today. So I think it's time I usually select tarot cards after a binge, so I think it's time. We'll sit on the ego chair and do that later in the day. Right now, I'll let the people finish their thing, and then I gotta eat something properly now. I gotta eat and take metformin, So either at home or go out for breakfast, once these people are done. Anyway, bye for now. I'll keep you posted. I'm still kicking. I'm still here. I'm still, my friend said something else as well. To look up what she said, and she said that the option of not trying, I think she capitalized it, the option of not trying isn't a good one either. And I suppose it's the trying and the battling and the constant battling that allows me to do the 5 to 6 weeks. Because, and when I tell people that it's been 5 or 6 weeks and I can probably do another 5 or 6 weeks when I'm on a binge, they don't believe me because I'm such a junkie. I'm such a, when stuff runs out, I'm like looking for crumbs, it's like, I get really desperate when the stuff ends. And when I start, I just, fortunately the binge got cut a bit short because the dealer didn't show up. So thank goodness for the unreliability of dealers. So this has happened before too. So anyway, I guess that was the universe saying, binge is over, nutty puss and prof, So that's what's been happening. I'm still kicking, I'm still here, and I'm like, and as I said, without the effort, without the trying, I'd be a daily user. And I wouldn't last long as one, And also, my finances wouldn't last long, They're like they're finite; they're not infinite. So that's it's the effort. It's that the battle of the pushes against the pulls, and the rechanneling, and the writing, and the podcasts, and the walks, and the eating out, and now going to washing the cars, and now going to cut the grass, and all of that stuff. They're all, they're all trying, and that trying, it works up to a point. It keeps me from becoming a daily user, but it doesn't go that next step and like never ever again. So as my other friend said a while ago, she said, maybe you'll never get out of the dark forest. And I went, oh, it's possible. I don't know. But again, I'm not going to stop trying. As my friend said, stopping trying is not an option. And the goal now is 6 weeks. So I gotta beat that benchmark. So that's basically up to my birthday. So middle of July, and my good friend is getting married in July as well. So that's something that I have to, gonna try to stay sober at least until then and after. So, but it's still going to be day by day, because once you go down, it's really hard to shift gears. So the pulls, they're not quite the werewolf or the inner dragon or the inner whatever. It never really gets satiated by the binge. It just wants more. It's the id. It's like, I want it and I want it now, and I want more and I want more and I want more. Sigh. It's better when you actually write the sigh, Anyway, I will sit on the ego chair and pick a thing later. I think they finished the work at the front. Bye for now. Still here, still trying. Hello, everybody. It's a little later in the day, and Agita's there, and one of the babies is here, and the other baby is there. And I'll just get a little close up of the other baby. The other baby. The other baby is there. Now, I suppose it has been an okay, day of first return for, first day back to family, to team family, my kids, and this ordinary world, which I haven't been out in yet today, just kind of looking out the window. But I've been exchanging emails and texts with friends, just a little bit more details about what happened yesterday. And one of my friends said that she saw it coming because some of the things that I told her, that I was checking the stuff online, and she says, when you start checking for availability of party play online, she goes, it's just a matter of time, before you start compulsively scrolling, through the internet for, situations to party play with. So anyway, that's what, so I exchanged some texts and emails with friends, and I provided some of the details that that I don't in podcasts, only because other people are involved, and it's like I keep saying this, but it's privacy issues, and when I write it, for now the writing is only for myself. Nobody else reads it, and if I ever get an editor and put it together, may or may not happen, but if I ever do publish any of those works, they're going to be heavily edited and changed and fictionalized, and locations changed and names changed and all of that stuff. So it'll be like, and it'll be like quite a bit later, because, some of those situations that I've talked about were like 6-7 years ago now, party soft friendly, So, and then by the time, if I ever publish the stuff that I'm writing now, I mean, it'll be several years later, and, names changed and all of that stuff. And then, you have the little disclaimer going, oh, this is a work of fiction. Any similarity to persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. Whatever, So, that's why I just hesitate a bit on the, but I talk generally in the podcast about, my own return and just generally what happens to me is the major shadow stuff. It becomes serious. It's sort of a Jekyll and Hyde thing. But again, consulting adults and substances that may or may not be legal, but let's not talk about that. So that's what, that's what, even though I've encountered people who party, but with legal substances like alcohol and weed, which is actually legal these days, So, party doesn't necessarily have to mean illegal substances, Actually, I think we had a discussion about that last night, but I'm in such a state when I'm discussing that, I can barely speak. I'll remember all the details later. I remember every single detail, but I'm just so fixated and I'm so kind of regressed and I'm so, compulsive in the stuff that I'm doing that it's very hard to communicate. So anyway, I'll say stuff like that, but I won't give details. However, to my friends, I provide a bit more details, which they sometimes get a little uncomfortable with, but but anyway, so I did provide some text details, and then I had a frozen crostini microwaved with chips and cheese. So a nutritious brunch. I fed the kids first, obviously. Their brunch is probably quite a bit tastier and more expensive than mine. But I had my crostini and it was food, and I took my medication, and I think the diabetes may be coming back. It was just yesterday. It was like, I did eat, but it was sporadic, and it was, and it was mixed with substances and all of that stuff, So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, yeah, my blood sugar was probably very high or low or something. It was messed up, But anyway, hopefully, oh, that reminds me, I'm going to pick up metformin, and I got to try to get a slightly possibly, I'll see my doctor. I was talking to my friend or texting with my friend about that, and she was like, "Oh, maybe your doctor can count how many lives you've used, like Puss's doctor in Puss in Boots." I go, I wish he could. That I know exactly how many lives are left. Anyway, at least I'm laughing, and I'm returned, and I'm slightly, a little worse for the wear. Every one of those excursions takes, and especially, the Jekyll and Hyde part, the shadow stuff. Now the Jungian task is to integrate shadow. I don't know about the integrating, but, I do explore it. And then I come back and I talk about it very generally in here in the podcast, and I write about it in some detail. So that part I haven't got to yet. I've just written to my friends emails and texts about, some of the highlights of yesterday's little adventure into Shadowland, So, but as my out of Providence friend was saying, hopefully, yesterday's, events, the binging will keep me, keep the cravings, the kind of satiation of the werewolf or anima or dragon or whatever the fuck it is. Will hopefully, give a little relief from the polls for the next 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks, So it doesn't quite work that way. There is going to be a bit of pull now. I know that, but it's just, it's as I said, the thing doesn't really get satiated. It kind of whets its appetite, but it's okay. I will make it because yesterday was quite, it was quite the adventure. There's lots to write about, and it was kind of, triggered the diabetes. It wasn't good, but I made it back safely, and I'm safe here in the condo with the kids, So that's what some people have said to me in the past. Remember, it's going to come up in podcasts. The whole, oh, you're not a junkie or a tourist. But anyone who sees me in that world when I am in junkie mode, they don't believe that I can do 5-6 weeks. Now, it's true. The 5-6 weeks is with difficulty. It's not easily. But, but I become such a junkie. It's just like, as I said, licking crumbs of substances of counters and stuff like that, and licking dollar bills. Probably not, $5 bills, $10, whatever. Probably not a good thing with COVID-wise and stuff, but anyway, so I become a dusty dumpster rodent weasel. The naughty professor becomes a dusty dumpster rodent weasel. So, and slithers. Anyway, let's do something here. Why don't we? I'm going to pause, and I got my tarot deck there. So this seems to have become a ritual after binges. So the last one was the High Priestess, and yes, there has been inner feminine issues and spiritual. So my version of spiritual, not religious spiritual in any way. So for me, these binges are a form of spiritual connection. Jung and the others. Jung said that. The 12-step people. They say, yeah, but that's bad connection. That's bad, going to church and praying and, reading from the handbook, the rules and all that, and, and chanting the surrender prayer. That's good spirituality, That's higher power is good stuff, This actual spiritual, in dissolved egos and substances and in particular kind of situations, which I won't go into more detail in, but, particular, societally, shadowy stuff, let's just say. That's not good spirituality. That's bad stuff, So anyway, that's I'm digressing here. We'll do another podcast on that. So let me pull select a tarot card. So the last one was High Priestess. The one before that, I think it was after a binge too. It was the Fool, which I do become the Fool, when I go to the other world, it's my role. It's kind of stripped bare of persona, but it's the Fool role, sort of holy fool maybe, but whatever, So that's I'm thinking of Alyosha from Brothers Karamazov. No, not that kind of fool. He was religious. Anyway, never mind. So we got that was the Fool, and the one at New Year's was the Devil. Now, remember, devil doesn't necessarily mean in tarot what Christian mythology sees it as. So let's pick a card. I'm going to just pause for a second here. Okay, so I just shuffled the deck, and Naughty Pro style, but I did shuffle quite well. And for some reason, this one, after shuffling, this one was on top. And I kind of put it in the middle, but I think it's the same card, and I think it's speaking to me. So, I don't know. Let's do it. For some reason, this one. Let's pick it. The Tower. Now, I know this one. I've come across this before. What does it say? Catastrophic accident. Things happening very quickly at lightning pace. Ooh. Hey, let's see. It doesn't sound good. Catastrophic accident. Things happening very quickly, lightning pace. Yesterday was a binge. I don't know if it was catastrophic. Every binge is kind of catastrophic, and it's kind of lightning pace. I don't know. It doesn't have to be. Let's read. Let me pause this. Let's see what it says. Okay, the tower card, when you read it at first, it does sound kind of catastrophic because this is a catastrophe and things change. But the tower card, a tower card description, the tower card depicts a high spire nestled on top of a mountain. A lightning bolt strikes the tower, which sets it ablaze. Flames are bursting in the windows, and people are jumping out of the windows as an act of desperation. Then they perhaps signal the same figures we see chained in the devil card earlier. Devil card I picked at New Year's. They want to escape the turmoil and destruction within. Oh, it's kind of, yeah, we got some turmoil and destruction going on for sure. Bloody professors, and bingings. The tower is a symbol for the ambition that is constructed on faulty premises. The destruction of the tower must happen in order to clear out the old ways, and welcome something new. Its revelations can come in a flash of truth or inspiration, So, represents change in a radical and momentous sense. It is for this reason the card itself visually looks so unnerving. But it doesn't necessarily have to be truly frightening or ominous, because at the heart of this card, the message is foundational. Groundbreaking change. The kind of event the tower card marks does not have to be something terrible like a disaster or a great loss. Change itself is a normal part of the life one has to embrace, but it can sometimes strike fear, for it means we must abandon the truths that we have known prior to this event. The old ways are no longer useful, and you must find another set of beliefs, values, processes to take their place. And, sort of, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to reflect on this. And this one follows on the High Priestess. That was the feminine energy, spirituality. And I've just been talking about, the whole, the binging and the underworld journeys and the exploration of shadow. For me, it's sort of spiritual, but, it's what most society doesn't really see as positive spiritual. So, and, it's not really working either, so, I've kind of learned, I think, all I need to learn, but there are still the stories, so many junky stories that I want to share, because I do really believe that, the strugglers, the people that I call strugglers, the people who live in the sort of underworld, or not not the traditional, in the world that is regarded as, as not good by most of society. So that's what, takes a tremendous strength. And it is in exploration. It's yes, people are trapped. It's true, And I have a little bit more freedom than many of the people that I encounter, because I do have this condo, and I have some means which are diminishing quite rapidly if I don't become a little bit more careful. And I got the kids, I got my podcast, and I got my writing, and I get my all that stuff. I can come back to this world. I'm not trapped in that. Now, yeah, it's hard to come back though, and the pull of that world is very strong, because it's very powerful stuff. My friend said that in the text. So anyway, I think that that's enough for today's ramblings. So today is day one, sigh. Yet again. How many times have we done this? Maybe that's what the tower card is saying. Look, it's like time to replace that old foundation, something more genuine, serve you better in what is to come. So it's like, easier said than done. And yesterday I was being told, because I like I said, I become uber junkie when I'm there. And people were like going, you'll be back in less than 4 weeks, maximum 5 weeks. You'll be back. It's like, 100%. And I'm like, probably right, but, probably right. But, there's got to be a way out of it, The tower is burning, there's got to be a way out of it rather than jumping out the window, So I've been doing everything I can, and that's also what's frustrating. The writing, the reading, the podcasts, the walks, the house, the cars, the kids. Obviously, you should kids first. That goes without saying. And exchanging texts with my civilian friends and emails. All of that stuff. So all of that, I have all of that, but it's still like 5 weeks. The weekend was torture. It was just, and as my friend said, once I start, scrolling through the party, postings, that's when she goes. It's just a matter of it's a when, because that's the first step on the pull, and once I get, and those are kind of addictive too. So kind of addicted to those, So anyway, okay. So yesterday the cat hair broke and the poles overtook the bushes. But we're back. As long as my diabetes isn't acting up, gonna eat a little bit more properly. So I'm gonna try to edit and post tonight. So let's do a day one, and we've got the tarot card. So I'm safe. I'm home, and that's what my friend said. Both of the friends that I've talked to about this say, we were just happy you're home and you're safe and you're with your kids. So we got one of the babies there. One of the babies there in the playpen, very comfortably settled, and Agita there, nicely settled on the bed. So. Oh, as long as Team Family is safe and I'm safe for now, as long as my diabetes doesn't flare up because of yesterday's shit, and day by day, like the 12-step people say, one day at a time, all that shit, But over the last few days until yesterday, it wasn't one day at a time. It was 1 minute at a time. It was just minute to minute, minute to minute. So it was inevitable. It was, as my friend said, once I start scrolling, then there's no turning back. Then it's just a question of time. And then it's like, okay, where's it going to take me? It takes me to some dark places. And, it does. Dark places with myself also, Really the socially unacceptable part of me comes out. And I become very sort of, fixated and compulsive, and I become uber junkie. So anyway, there we go. I'm now struggling back into ordinary world. Bye for now from the four of us. So I've already done this, but I enjoy doing this. So from one baby, from two baby, from Agita, and from myself, without a doubt, the nuttiest of, craziest of, shadowy professors that ever walked the face of the earth. Bye for now.